Lesson 9.1, we are working on the practice packet here, starting on page number 2. So this is naming skew and parallel lines. We're going to go through, name all these different prisms and pyramids and other items that we have here. So for number 1, your correct answer would be a rectangular prism. For number 2, even though it's flipped upside down, it has a cone, it has a circular base, and then it comes to a vertex down here at the bottom. For number 3, we have 2 triangles connected together with all those different rectangles there, so we call this a triangular prism. Question number 4, we have a square base. If you called it a rectangular base, I would be okay with that too, connected to a vertex by all those different triangles around. So we're going to call this a square pyramid. If you called it a rectangular pyramid, that would be fine as well. In number 5, this is half of a sphere, which we call a hemisphere. Question number 6, we see a pyramid here, and we have to take a look at the base. The base has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 sides. So because it has 8 sides, we call it an octagonal pyramid. In question number 7, we have squares making up all the sides of this, so this is called a cube. In question number 8, we have 2 hexagons, one on the top and one on the bottom, and they're connected by rectangles. So we would call this a hexagonal prism. On question number 9, we have a rectangular base. The faces here are all made up of triangles coming to a vertex. So we would call this a rectangular pyramid. In number 10, our 2 bases are pentagons connected together with rectangles, so we would call this a pentagonal prism. In number 11, we have 2 circular bases connected together with that piece, so this is going to be our cylinder. In question number 12, we have 8, so 2 octagons connected together with rectangular pieces, so we'd call this an octagonal prism. In number 13, we have a pentagon base with the faces all being triangles, so we'd call this a pentagonal pyramid. In number 14, we have another pyramid here, only our base is a hexagon, so we'd call this a hexagonal pyramid. In number 15, this is our sphere. And then in number 16, we do have a pyramid. It comes to a point, and our base is down here. It's this triangle, so we call this a triangular pyramid. So that'll be number 16 then. And on page number 3, talking about parallels and skew lines. So in drawing number 1, it says a line segment that's parallel to BC. So BC would be right up front here. For this answer, you could either put AD, you could put HE, or you could put GF. Those would all be parallel to BC. A pair of skew line segments would be something like if you started with BC and then you went over here to DE. So DE is going up and down while BC is coming out towards the front. It's obviously not your only skew line segment, but that's an example of one that would work. In the next drawing, we are looking for something that is parallel to CG. So CG is right here. Lines that would actually be parallel to this would be BH, AI, EJ, or actually DF. Any one of those would be an example for the first one. For the next part, it says AE is skew 2. So if we have AE right up front here, any lines that would be skew to this one would include BH, you could have CG, you could have BC, you could have HG, you could have HI, you could have JI. Actually, that would be parallel, so that would not work. And you could have DF up front here. Those would all be examples of skew lines. Let me highlight back over these ones. We would not include any of these ones like CD, GF, or IJ because those would actually be parallel. So another set of skew line segments, you could come up with basically any combination that we have here. And you could use some of the ones that we have that we just mentioned. In drawing number 3, we're asking for parallels first. So we have VW, which is right here. So VW would be parallel to AB. And that is actually the only one that it would actually be parallel to, because the others would all lie in different planes. The next question says that BW is skew to. So we have BW right here. Lines that would be skew would be, for example, if you did DC back here, you could have YX up front here. You cannot have VW or AB. You also cannot do EZ, DY, or CX because it would actually be parallel. You could, though, have VZ, and you could have AE, and you could actually do DE, or you could do ZY. Those would all be good examples. And anything through here, another set of parallel would have to lie in the same plane, and then the other set of skew would have to be in different planes, but also not parallel to each other.